Hi, I'm Maddie, and I'm going to be reading Ghosts Don't Eat Potato Chips by Debbie Dady and Marcia Thornton Jones. Chapter 1. Great Aunt Matilda. Aw, Grandma, Eddie whined. Why do I have to go? Great Aunt Matilda doesn't even like me. Eddie's grandmother sighed. Because Matilda is my sister, and families take care of each other. That old bat never did anything for us, Eddie mumbled. Eddie's grandmother thumped him on the head. That's not the point. She's been by herself since Uncle Jasper died. Now she's sick and needs our help. All you have to do is take her meals to her. You and Howie can take her lunch on your way to the playground. Eddie pulled a baseball cap over his curly red hair and grabbed the dish off the kitchen counter. He didn't complain to his grandmother again, but he slammed the door extra hard on his way out. His best friend, Howie, was waiting for him at the street corner. What's that? Howie asked. It's a sick casserole for my great Aunt Matilda. Don't you mean it's a great casserole for your sick aunt? Howie asked. Eddie snickered. You don't know my grandmother's cooking. Howie laughed and pulled out a crushed bag of potato chips from his shirt pocket. You want some garlic chips? No, those things are worse than my grandmother's cooking, Eddie said. You should get the kind I like. The two boys headed down the street with Howie crunching away. In just a few minutes, they stood in front of Aunt Matilda's house. The branches of a huge weeping willow tree dragged to the ground beside the fence. The rusty iron gate squeaked open. Eddie and Howie looked at the big house without saying a word. Dark windows stared down at them as they walked up to the crumbling steps to the door. This house looks like a reject from an old horror movie, Howie whispered. Eddie nodded. It's definitely ready for a wrecking ball. Howie crunched nervously on his potato chips. Let's hurry up. This place is creepy. Eddie lifted the rusting door knocker, then let it fall with a thud. A window on the second floor creaked open, and a gray-haired woman looked out. Who's at my door? It's us, Eddie yelled. Grandma sent your lunch. Aunt Matilda wrinkled her nose like she just sucked it on a lemon. Well, hurry and bring it to me, and shut the door behind you. Then she slammed the window so hard it rattled. Eddie pushed the door open. A musty smell hit them like an ocean wave. Phew! P.U. It smells like something died in here. Hasn't your Aunt Matilda ever heard of air fresheners? Howie asked. Old people don't care when things stink, Eddie said. Quit that whispering and bring me my lunch, Aunt Matilda said from her bedroom. An old lady could die of starvation before getting fed by you. I'd like to feed her a thing or two, Eddie muttered, only it wouldn't be supper. The two kids stepped around a pile of yellow newspapers and started up the creaking steps. Eddie's shoelaces slapped the faded carpet, and the boys sidestepped a broken chair in the upstairs hall. Aunt Matilda's room was at the end of the hall on the second floor. Aunt Matilda was sitting up in bed with a box of tissues by her side. Weighted up tissues were scattered on the floor. Wisps of gray hairs hung around her face like spider webs, and her wrinkled skin was the color of old pears. She looked like she had been through World War II instead of the flu. She pointed a bony finger at Eddie. "I remember you. You're the mean one." Eddie shrugged. "It must run in the family." Aunt Matilda grunted. "Who's that with you?" "I don't know him." Howie choked on a potato chip. "I'm Eddie's friend, Howie. Would you like some chips?" He held up the crumpled bag. "That's the garlic kind my Jasper always ate. It's probably what killed him." "Who's Jasper?" Howie whispered. "Who's Jasper?" Howie whispered as he stuffed the bag into his shirt pocket. "My dead uncle," Eddie whispered. Eddie whispered back. Then, before Aunt Matilda could say anything else, Eddie shoved at her. Grandma said to ask you if you needed anything else." Aunt Matilda nodded. "As long as you're here, you can water the garden." As they walked down the steps, Eddie and Howie heard Aunt Matilda blowing her nose. "I never knew you had such a crazy aunt," Howie said. "She's not half as crazy as Uncle Jasper was." Eddie said he pushed open the back door. "We're just lucky he's not around anymore."
Okay, now that's the end of chapter 1. Thank you for listening. Bye.